Today I am doing this massive drive from Mesa Verde all the way up to Montrose to see Black Canyon of the Gunnison. It is not the longest drive I've ever done, but it's gonna be gorgeous. Apparently, Colorado only has a few weeks of fall every year, and we are smack dab in the middle of it. Yesterday I checked out Mesa Verde, and the next national park on my list to see every national park is Black Canyon of the Gunnison. Now I want you to be able to enjoy the crazy fall views along this drive, but I want to make it interesting, and I've never done a Q&A. So today, while I'm driving, I'm going to answer the most common questions I've gotten about living in the van. One of those questions is, where do you stay? Well, today I'm on BLM land right outside of Mesa Verde. I stopped there yesterday and then stayed last night at this free campground. Our route takes us right into town. We need to get gas and then be on our way. Before we leave, one of the most common questions I get is, how do you get ready in the morning, do dishes, cook, all of those things? Really, the van serves as a little RV. I have everything I need to get ready in the morning, do dishes, I have a stove to cook, and I have a pantry full of too much food. Now for electricity, I use a Jackery. I have a solar panel that I can use to charge, but I usually just charge it while I'm driving. Oh no, it's fine. That was half a tank of gas. I decided pretty early on that I can't worry about gas prices. I've seen everywhere from $2.80 to over $5 in California, so it's not something I can think about. Someone else mentioned that almost instead of paying for rent, you're paying for gas. That comparison has helped me out a whole bunch. On my trip earlier this year, all the way to the Pacific Northwest and back, I spent about $1,600 in gas. The trip I'm on right now will probably be closer to $2,000. If you want to help out, I have a Patreon page. The link is in the description. Much appreciated for everybody who wants to learn more about my trip and help cover the cost of gas. I'm kind of disappointed that I won't be following them. That is $1 million. No, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today's drive is along Highway 145 here in Colorado. Now that we've made it a little bit out of town, I stopped to check out the leaves. I am in love with all of this red rock next to the green and yellow trees. It is gorgeous. One question I've been asked is, how do I keep myself engaged on a long drive? I never try and do more than 6 or 8 hours of driving because it's just too much, and I even try and limit those days. If I do have a day like that, I try and do as many stops as possible, like this, and then in the van I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and I've been trying to get into more books on tape. Books on tape, am I a million? I've been trying to get into audiobooks, so if you have any recommendations in those two categories, let me know in the comments. So another question I've been asked a lot is, why the national parks? And I really just set it as a goal. So if you're here for the first time, I am choosing to go to every national park in the continental US this year. Really, the answer is I wanted a reason to crisscross the United States on a road trip. And if you have a chance to go to every national park, why wouldn't you? That's why I set the goal, and now it's just a challenge to see if I can actually do it. When I set the goal, I was gonna go to every national park. Since then, I've had to nix Hawaii, Alaska, and American Samoa. So as long as there's not interruption from wildfires, I should be able to make it to 52 national parks this year. I've officially been to 34. Okay, 2 more questions. First being, what is the biggest surprise? Before I started, I thought the national parks would be the biggest highlight of this trip. And honestly, all of the parts in between have been the best. There are national parks that everybody would expect that I love, like Rocky Mountain and Yellowstone, but Theodore Roosevelt was so great, and the drives between them have been so much fun. Just to see what it's like in Idaho or Montana or Utah or even North Carolina, being able to drive up to Maine, all of those things have been just so neat to see and experience. Easily the biggest surprise. Question number 2 is if I feel safe. So a lot of people are really worried about my safety, which is nice. I've always been taught to be safe and trust my instincts, which helps a ton. But I also know that just being out in the world, whether you're in a city or everyday life, there's still dangers. So being able to travel, kind of push my comfort zone, but still trust my instincts has been huge. I do take precautions, like sleeping in the van. I don't make it obvious that I'm the only one there. I make sure I'm not staying in a situation just to be polite if I feel uncomfortable. Plus, I think you have to remember that people in general are really nice and would be willing to help you if you need it. There's definitely a balance between not letting the fear of other people get in the way of what you do and making sure that you're safe. And I just try and keep that in mind in every situation. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, why do you want to share everything on YouTube? And then I see places like this. How do you not share this with everyone you know? I've made over 130 videos on YouTube. I've done it for over a year now. I absolutely love it. I had no idea how to edit videos or do any of that stuff before I started. It has been really fun, sometimes frustrating to figure out how to do it, but if it allows me to let other people feel more comfortable traveling and show them places like this, whew. I mean, luckily I'm not gonna stop anytime soon. I try and upload 2 times a week. Sometimes I miss it because it takes too much time, but it's still totally worth it. People also ask how long I plan to travel, and honestly, until I get tired of it. Since my original intention was to travel the world, I had saved up enough money to go for about a year and a half before I needed to get a job. The world had different plans, and because of that, I've actually been able to kind of stretch my savings. So now I'm coming up on 2 years, and it looks like I'll have another 6 months or so to travel before I need to figure out something new. Honestly, we'll just see how it goes, which is really my motto for about anything. It is too windy to answer this one outside. On the same token of how long do I plan to travel, people often ask how I have money to travel and what I do to work. I've actually chosen not to work and just used my savings. I saved up money while I worked, and I ended up selling my house so that I could travel, and that's the money I've been using to travel. I understand that that's not how a lot of people choose to save money or how they choose to spend their money once they save it. I consider myself extremely lucky that I have the choice to do that. It goes against a lot of what we're taught about making more money and having more things and more. And it's taken a lot of confidence to kind of go against that. Obviously, traveling is really fun, but it can still be really intimidating for me to not have a job and not be pursuing all of those things that I've always thought I wanted. It's been both fun and really scary to try something new. I think one question that everybody asks about van life is if it's as wonderful as it looks. I think the important thing is nothing is as good as it looks on Instagram. Living and traveling in the van has tested my patience. It's made me rely on some skills I've had and definitely learned some new ones, but it's also pretty amazing. This morning we started out at Mesa Verde National Park and we're ending the day here at Black Canyon of the Gunnison. And so far this year I have been to 35 national parks in 44 states. This canyon was formed by the Gunnison River, which is one of the oldest rivers in the world. It's called the Black Canyon because there are places that are so narrow that the sun only reaches it for a few hours a day. Since the river carved the rock, you can see magnificent patterns, including this, which is called the Painted Wall. Hopefully you enjoyed this Q&A. I've never done one before, so let me know in the comments if you have any other questions for me. I'll either be able to answer them or do another Q&A video. I am gonna leave you today with more views from the canyon, but if you're interested in a full video on this national park, I'll put the link in the description so that you can check it out. After this, I am headed back to Utah. I'll see you there.